Brilliance Audio.
Chains of Ice by Christina Dodd. Performed by Samantha Brentmore. Genny Valente had always believed in magic. Her father was one of the dark, business-suited men who ran the gypsy travel agency, and one of her earliest memories was standing in front of him as he sat in his leather chair, reciting the legend in her high, lisping voice. Long ago, when the world was young. When she was 5, she could rattle it off, and she was excited about it, the way a 5-year-old is excited about the Pledge of Allegiance, mouthing the words without understanding them. When she was 10, her vivid imagination brought the legend to life. Long ago, when the world was young, a beautiful young woman lived in a village on the edge of a vast, dark forest, and she declared she would marry only a man whose magnificence matched her own. She took the eldest son of the local lord, a lazy lad as famed for his dark, wavy hair and deep-set blue eyes as for his vanity, and before the year was out, she grew large with child. But in the spring, when it came time to deliver her child, she gave birth to 2 scrawny, wailing, red-faced babes. Worse, they were not perfect. The elder looked as if red wine stained him from the tips of his tiny fingertips to his bony shoulder. The younger, a girl, had a dirty smudge in the palm of her hand, which to the mother looked exactly like an eye. Disgusted, she rose from her birthing bed. She took her children, carried them into the deepest part of the forest, where old and hungry gods waited to consume any human who dared venture close. She abandoned the boy and tossed the girl into a torrent of icy water. Yes, at 10, Genny believed the legend and spent every night cowering beneath her covers, imagining the indifferent eyes of the long-ago mother as she abandoned her children. Those eyes looked so familiar, big and golden brown like Genny's, but unlike Genny's, without an ounce of warmth. Genny had never understood what she did wrong, why her own mother didn't care about her. All too easily she could imagine being left for wolves to eat, or being thrown in a river to drown. 3 years later, Genny was 13 and mad at the world. She did everything she could to physically discard her bewildered, lonely childhood. She pulled her dark, curly hair back from her face, binding it at the back of her neck. She wore bras that flattened her breasts. She painted her fingernails black, used black lipstick, dusted her face with pale powder. She cut off her eyelashes. It didn't help. Nothing helped. Her mother never noticed, and her father paid her no attention, except to demand she recite a stupid old legend. Sure, she knew it. At the moment when the mother abandoned her children, they were devoid of the gift every child should receive at birth. Its parents' love. Their small hearts stopped beating. They died, and came back to life changed, gifted. The vacuum in their hearts filled by a new gift, one given in pity and in love. They were the first abandoned ones. Wanderers saved the boy, and when he grew up he could create fire in the palm of his hand. He gathered around him others like him, babes who had been tossed aside like offal and in amends had been given a special gift. They were the chosen, 7 men and women who formed a powerful force of light in a dark world. When Genny was 15, her father got fired for stealing from the gypsy travel agency, from the very people who organized and protected the chosen ones. Helpless, Genny watched as her world was smashed to bits. Her mother walked out and never looked back. The baby girl floated down the cold torrent, bobbing to the surface, and screaming when her tiny body caught on a branch. A woman, a witch, heard the shrieks and pulled the baby from the water. Disappointed by the scrawny thing, she intended to toss her back, until she saw the eye. She knew then that the child was special, so she took her to her home and raised her, starved her, tormented her, used her as a slave. She taught her how to hate. Genny Valente plea-bargained his way out of a prison sentence, indicting one of the board members, 2 company librarians, an assessor, 4 travel agents, and 1 of the chosen. He became the most hated squealer in New York City. At first, Genny cried tears of relief that her father merely had to return the money he had stolen and pay a fine. Yes, she had lost her mother, but her mother had never cared. Yes, she had to move out of her luxurious home on Long Island and into her grandparents' crowded home in the Bronx. But she still had her father, and she didn't have to go into foster care. That was the important thing. Right? Right?